and then I didn't sleep all night.
He dumped me.
We are here, we're thriving, well, as much as it's possible in this world.
Yes, it's true. A lot of people don't need therapy. You told me about that show, Sex Education, and you said that it shows a really good example of a good therapist, counselor, psychologist.
It is actually very interesting. Maybe it's a little bit of a different angle because the therapist who is shown there is a sex therapist. So she is, and a relationship therapist. So she is advising like sexual health, health of sexual life, and partnerships and stuff like that. She's one of the main characters in this show, and she's appearing like in different sort of roles, in the role of a mother, in the role of a lover, and eventually in the role of a sex educator who was like brought to the school where the TV show takes place to help the kids, because apparently they had a lot of questions and they had a lot of issues with the way sex education was like implemented there in that school.
So it's like there's a school and they have a subject called sex education, and
Can you
she's
believe
teaching
that?
That's like blows my mind. and no surprise, because I didn't watch the shows, but a lot of people around me talked about that and how ahead of its time it is. I don't know, I just never felt like I needed sex education. So I didn't watch it. So why should we watch it? Why?
You might be interested in this little snippet that I prepared then, just to have a glimpse into not only like counseling, not only like teen counseling, but also like the way sex education is implemented, I don't know, somewhere in the perfect like civilized world.
Okay, so I'll play the snippet that you asked me to play.
A friend of mine is dating a girl who keeps putting a pillow over his face when they have sex.
Interesting. Adding fetish to the curriculum could be a real asset.
My girlfriend's insane.
I thought you said it was your friend's girlfriend.
I've got to go.
So,
All right.
what do you think?
What do you want me to think about? Like, I'm really confused. Like it's very straightforward.
Maybe I could give you a little bit of a setting like to this scene, because this is a really short snippet and there is something that precedes it and there is something that follows it. Basically, right before the scene, she is talking with the principal and he is reminding her that she is brought here not to give counseling, but she's brought here to the school to work on the sex education curriculum because it doesn't satisfy the needs of the students. She is not allowed to directly give any advice or give therapy to students. She is supposed to work on the curriculum, but she also wants to give the kids like some valuable insights, some knowledge in regards to their like sexual problems. It is just priceless for teenagers.
I have to agree with that. I have to agree with that. A lot of my fantasies or desires were confusing at teenagehood. Let's put it that way. But I don't know, like really, I think it's very limiting that they told her that she cannot give counseling because, okay, like first of all, for me it would be a bit unusual that this is the problem you come for to your counselor with like my girlfriend wants to cover my face with a pillow. Like there are problems much bigger than that. Like he dumped me.
Yes, absolutely. Because they're speaking about sex like all the time when in fact they're speaking about relationships. But I mean,
Oh.
it's 2020s. This
They're
is
masking
sex
it.
sells. Yes, sex sells.
Mm.
If they were speaking about, this sort of high relationships that were maybe like people, I don't know, were making movies about it in 1950s, that wouldn't sell. And basically all of the issues, you're right. Of course, the problems like he dumped me, the problems like we don't understand each other, the problems like we want to be together, but like I'm moving like with my parents or whatever would be dominating in real teenagers' mind. And
Yeah, in that sense, I don't like Twilight. I think it's a bullshit movie trilogy, fourlogy,
agree,
fivelogy, whatever. But there was a
100% agree.
scene. There was a scene that I could relate to so much. After vampire guy dumped the main character girl,
He
they
dumped
were
her?
they
I was not
yeah, yeah.
aware. I thought they were
Yeah,
happily
like I
married
think
eventually.
in movie two he dumped her, and she was no contact with him, and she was sitting in her room, and the camera was showing like 360 degrees of how the like autumn went by winter, winter went by spring, spring by one summer, and this idea of like her just grieving and not doing anything. I was like,
Oh,
yes, that's me. Like
yeah.
this is what happened to me after a breakup.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I can relate like 100%. First boyfriend dumped me in the most like embarrassing way. I
Text,
lost.
text message.
I wouldn't go into that because that was like so stupid and so weird. Not a text message, but imagine the picture. I was running. It was February. I was running up that hill on
Oh, running
Kitaygorat,
up the
like all
hill.
covered in tears. Yeah. And
Oh,
I rushed home and I found a bottle of champagne and I drank it all. And then I didn't sleep all night. It was the first night of my life of this full insomnia. Like I couldn't get a minute of sleep. So this kind of drama um, takes place and has to take place in everybody's life, but it doesn't, absolutely doesn't have to take several years of my life because this
exactly.
is what eventually it turned into. Because then I
Yeah.
had another boyfriend who was like, we had a really weird relationship, and
Rebound boyfriend.
yes, and then we
And we had
reconnected with
no
the first
idea.
one, and the
We had
second
no
one.
idea.
I'm sorry, I just want to give you the picture. The second boyfriend killed himself, like literally. That's what happened. Yeah, when I was 19 years old. So, like, yeah, all kind of stuff. I believe I would have been able to escape that shit, just not to get myself into any of those situations because, but I didn't have access to therapy. So I had to, eat all of that stuff and I had to like work on it myself.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, teenagers feel it the most. Like for them, sorry, it's the end of the world.
Yeah. Of course, because it's your first love or it's your second relationship and everything is so bright and vivid. Everything just is just touching your soul in a way that it would never do again, maybe. Um, it's crazy. And counseling and therapy is so much needed, is so necessary for teenagers.
But even without counseling, let's say okay, we don't have counseling in schools, we can't afford therapy. Nowadays we have so many YouTube podcasts and shows that talk about stuff like that. Like I'm thinking Like I felt so lost. I for months, like I didn't have will to live because of that heartbreak that killed me every day from inside out. Like I can remember it vividly how horrible it was. Like if I just had access to YouTube podcasts where another girl would talk about her experience and I would feel less alone.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
No, that was
And
years wasted. Years wasted.
yeah, this is why also group therapy is so useful
You can't sell
because
me group therapy. No, 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 no,
I
no,
mean,
no. I
I'm
don't
not
want to be
trying. I didn't try it myself, but it's on my bucket list, I would say.
bucket list of therapy.
Yeah, family therapy, tick. Personal therapy, tick.
We
Like
we should
different, tick.
we
Like
should make it a
different
hashtag trending.
therapy bucket list. Yeah. I think this is something to try because you also relate, like, and other people talk and they give you feedback about your problems, and you are also like helping other people to look at things in their lives differently. So this must be really cool. I'm not selling though, I'm sorry. I don't know what's your point, what's the issue.
No, the issue is that I'm opposed to group therapy. Yeah.
That's
I'm not.
You already mentioned today that you're an introvert, right? That explains
Yes.
everything.
Yes, I do.
Myers-Briggs, here we are. Don't deny it.
No, like honestly, therapy itself is not the answer. Like I just told a story of a therapist that dumped me after I came to him with a breakup story. So yeah, there are bad therapists out there, but like again, he was at that point the only source of counseling I could get. Like now we have YouTube. Now we have all sorts of podcasts on Spotify and Apple, like everything, like the information is just so accessible. So if you're watching this and if you're suffering from a breakup, you're not alone. You're not alone. We've all been there. We've come through and now we are millennials. So you can live to our age after all that heartache.
15 years fast forward,
Yeah.
we are here, we're thriving. Well, as much as it's possible in this world, it's not us. Yeah. But it's gonna be fine. Absolutely. It's gonna be fine, and seek some help. If you can get into therapy, please do that. If you cannot, please find a group of people who would be able to support you. Please, there's a lot of useful and professional content on YouTube.
So I am still not convinced. I'm still not convinced because even though the topic of sex education was very like ahead of its times and it's really good, like teenagers have questions about sex, and but still it looked to me like that woman, the counselor or the sex educator, she was more fascinated by the fetishes and the question. Like she didn't think of whatever she was saying, what kind of impact it could make on a boy. No, no, I need a better shrink in pop culture, and I think you offered me one.
Um, Actually, I'm not sure. The shrink that I'm going to offer is like one of the most terrifying because have you heard about Shrink Next Door? If you heard, what did you hear about it?
I didn't hear anything. Is he better?
No, he's not. He's worse in like so many ways. This TV show is based on a real story. This is a story of a businessman who got into therapy. We're going to see the very beginning of this therapy, and this therapy basically ruined his life.
What?
So I'm sorry to shock you. I really thought that you were aware.
No. I watched that short clip that you sent me and I thought like, finally, a professional.
No, that is not nowhere near. I'm sorry about spoilers, but this is a very well-known story. So the guy who wrote the script, I hope I'm not mistaken, but I believe the guy who wrote the script for the TV show was the journalist who made an investigation and the initial documentary podcast on this story, because the story is real. And again,
Investigation? Does it get criminal?
yes, very
Oh,
much so. Very much so.
oh no,
Uh,
no,
You
no.
should watch it. Like, no spoilers. What I prepared today is just one scene, so it is nothing, like nothing huge. It doesn't give any like hint of the story, but it's just the scene that I liked, and that
Okay,
is
okay, okay.
in a way.
Let's just watch it because I just saw that scene and I thought this therapist is good. Okay, so let's just watch that.
I, I'm fine. Everything's fine. It's so silly. Yeah. Phyllis made me come. That's the real reason. Phyllis? My sister. I feel bad. I feel like this is a waste of your time. I'm I'm sorry. I'm gonna go. Well, look. Hey, you're here? Might as well stay. Just to keep Phyllis quiet, right? True. So, have a seat. Relax.
So yeah, I believe the scene itself, if you don't know the context, if you are like unaware of this true story, this is quite like heartwarming,
Yeah.
because the client is so reserved that he doesn't want to admit he has a problem. So just a little bit of context: right before this scene, he had a really bad panic attack at work. This is why his sister Phyllis advised him to visit this therapist who was very popular among Jewish community in New York. Apparently, nothing good follows the scene. I'm not giving any more
Oh,
spoilers, but I just want to talk about this particular situation where people refuse to admit they need help. This happens really, really often. This happens very often to men,
especially.
especially. Yes, because of the macho culture, like all over the world in different countries, that you should be strong, you must be this and that. And like basically what it says to a man,
Only girls cry.
that's what it says. So, not cool, not great. Apparently, the setting, like the situation in this TV show, it's end of 1980s, I believe, or
Yep,
beginning of
yep.
1990s. I really like to think that more and more people go into therapy to get professional help, and more people are ready to open up, because only by opening up you can benefit from therapy. Of course, it's hard. Sometimes you cannot open up like 100%, and that's fine.
Yeah,
But
but slowly but steadily.
yeah, at least don't deny your problems. You have a problem, don't deny it.
I can almost hear the comments if we ever get popular and start getting comments, of course.
Please,
But
please, God, please.
but I can almost hear the comments like, I don't need therapy. I'm great. And that doesn't mean that I'm not. And yes, it's true. A lot of people don't need therapy. If you are really feeling great, you don't need therapy. Like, I have a few examples in my close circle of people who, by all therapeutical estimation, need therapy because they had so many problems in their lives and so much baggage, but they're just
Yeah,
dealt with it and they're okay. They don't need therapy because they're okay. Now, there is a tricky thing here to understand, like, you're okay because you think you have to be okay, or you're really okay. you know?
Yeah, this sort of pressure, like on people, to be established, to be successful, not to have any problems. This can be a problem in the long run because you can brace yourself today, you can oppress your feelings tomorrow, but in the long run, it's not working. I wish that it spreads even more, that it spreads in more countries. I really think that it will be beneficial for everyone, for the countries, for societies, for families, like on all levels. That would be
Yeah.
good.
And for one, happy people cannot start wars. You cannot be happy and wake up one day and like, huh, we should go to war. Like, if you're happy, you don't want that. So
No,
there are
no,
certain
not at
people
all.
who might want to go into therapy because happy people do not do shit like that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I just wanted to mention one more TV show that it's called Gypsy, and it's about a therapist who is also going super hardcore, unethical, like ruining like a lot of things for her patients. Like this is also so yeah, pop culture just
Damn.
straight out demonizes therapy and
We don't want that.
therapists.
We don't want that. Like I have a message. I have a message to our viewers. If you have seen any movies or popular TV series that depicts therapists as they are, like really good professionals who are really helping other people, please let us know in comments because apparently we're missing this kind of TV shows.
Yeah, of course, this is not like 100% of cases. There are different therapists, and therapists are also people, and it is normal, like, not to to discover that you don't like your therapist, to discover that you are not clicking, that you don't want to continue with the therapist because of this and or that issue. This is completely okay. But all in all, there's a feeling that there's a lack of positive images of therapists in pop culture. And
Definitely,
that's
definitely.
that's what we would like to investigate. Like, please help us.
We are going to investigate.
Yeah, please help us. Please share like whatever you have, your findings. If there's a good movie, if there's a good TV show about a therapist, please share in the comments.
That was very insightful, and thanks very much for this chat. Anything else you'd like to add about therapy?
So if you are having like a tough situation, or if you're not feeling well, don't try to, like oppress your feelings or brace yourself or
Put
like
yourself
pretend that,
together!
yes, like push, 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 like to success, like to, I don't know, money, like, I don't know, fame, whatever you're motivated with, like it isn't worth it unless you are feeling good and you're balanced inside.
Yeah, until you feel yourself like
Yeah,
probably that's the thing that therapy does to you. You are on a journey to embrace yourself, like who you really are, what you really want,
yeah,
what are your values, things
yeah,
like that. Very simple. You don't have to be depressed or in any sort of difficult situation to embark on that journey. It's just a helping hand.
yeah.
And and another word for a therapist would be a coach. Just coaches do not deal with some sort of like
Trauma, yeah, or
yeah,
issues, or like depressed state of mind.
yeah,
They,
like
yeah,
maybe even therapist is not your first entry. Maybe you could just find a good coach.
Yeah.
The one you could talk about your goals and
Yeah, if you're feeling
Yeah.
great, that's great, but you can still benefit from it. It's cool.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're
Mhm.
so much in agreement with that.
Yay!
Yay.
It's good to be on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Well, it was really nice to have such a long conversation with you after so many months not having such long conversations.
Yeah,
Do you have anything to cheer me on? Because we promised we would have a little bit of wine on this channel.
just a little bit. Just
Just a little bit.
therapeutical amount, right?
Therapeutic amount.
Thank you guys for checking this out. Yeah, thank you for checking this out. And until next time.
Until next time.